Thank you, Secretary Teves, for your introduction. Excellencies of the Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, leaders of our domestic and international business communities, government officials, ladies and gentlemen. The last 2 years have been remarkable for the economy of the world. History is not always a straight upward trajectory of progress as we have seen. This was certainly true of the economic and social setbacks the world felt during this tumultuous time. Yet, the world will recover and become stronger and more resilient. So too, the Philippines. We have been able to withstand the global devastation better than most for a simple reason: we were prepared. We made the tough choices on raising revenue, instilling budget discipline, and most importantly, using our savings and new revenue to invest in the people. At the end of the day, it is still all about investment and growth. No nation can move forward without expanding growth and opportunity. The global recession put the poor all over the world in deep jeopardy. In the Philippines, the global setback forced us to delay our long-desired objective of balancing our budget, but it was a worthy delay. We invested in our poor and middle class to keep their heads above water during this very difficult time. Our stimulus package and targeted subsidies for the poor answered the pressing need to protect our people from harm. Today, we stand before you, feeling more confident about the future and proud of what we have done, not just these last 2 years, but over the entire 9 years of our administration. Our record of accomplishments is a solid one. 36 quarters of uninterrupted growth, low inflation, higher job creation, expansion of human and physical infrastructure. The story of our administration started with some daunting statistics. In the first quarter of 2001, inflation was 7.5%. Our overall balance of payments position was a deficit of $202 million. External debt was 72.9% of GDP. But worse, our total public sector debt was larger than our whole GDP. Unemployment was double-digit at 11%. We inherited an economy that was not even on the radar screen of international investors or the international financial community. Net foreign direct investment inflows were less than $200 million in 2001. During the previous government, investor confidence was so low that one credit rating agency, Moody's, said in 2000, and I quote, "Recent weak economic management overshadows the decade-long improvement in the country's economic foundations that resulted from reform and liberalization." Moody's also said that prolonged political uncertainty or economic mismanagement would depress domestic and foreign investment, potentially reversing the recent gains in external flexibility and hurting the country's creditworthiness. Today, we are seeing the Philippines in a different light. Even in the depth of the global financial crisis in February 2009, the same Moody's said, and I quote again, "The Philippines has so far demonstrated a remarkable degree of resiliency to the global financial and economic crisis, and has largely preserved gains achieved in recent years in improving the country's economic, external payments, and fiscal fundamentals." Yes, we have come a long way. 9 years ago, we were our own poison. But today, the Philippines' internal strength and resilience, which we built up through investment in our country and sound economic policy, are helping to keep our economy afloat even as some of the world's strongest economies have fallen. The future for the Philippine economy is indeed much brighter now than it was in 2001. However, capitalizing on our potential will only be possible if we continue to have leadership willing to make the tough and often unpopular decisions that are required to break the hold of entrenched special interests and keep our economy moving. We call on those who aspire to this, the highest office of our land, to always put the right thing for the country ahead of political expediency. It doesn't matter how popular you are if our economy is not providing the broad-based opportunity that our people deserve. When we took office in 2001, we had very clear development objectives and an equally clear action plan to meet those objectives. Our plan to promote growth and equity centered around a focus on the following components I pointed out in my first State of the Nation address in 2001. First, an economic philosophy of private enterprise appropriate to the 21st century. Under this philosophy, the way to fight poverty is to create jobs. To create jobs, we attract investments. To attract investments, we attend to macro measures and concerns like instituting fiscal discipline and strengthening the banking sector. Government revenues had to be raised, and government expenditures had to move from profligate to prudent without compromising such core priorities as education, health, agricultural modernization, and our nation's technological progress. The government has also continued to work with the Bangko Sentral to pursue legislative reforms aimed at ensuring that international standards were maintained to eliminate such illegal practices as money laundering. Our efforts to invest in the sectors that have the potential to make significant contributions to our nation's drive for job creation and investment attraction have resulted in a stronger ICT sector and the modernization of our tourism and agriculture sectors. Our BPO sector was employing 4,000 people when we took office in 2001. Today, that number has increased to more than 400,000 and still counting. This did not happen by accident. It has required a joint public-private sector investment in the future of that important sector of our economy. International cooperation was also central to our efforts to promote economic development. Opening new markets, increasing trade, and providing leadership in regional and international organizations has benefited our national economy. Bilateral economic, political, and security cooperation with such countries as Japan, China, and the United States and others have been vital to the growth of the Philippine economy.